a very good morning to you, our dear viewers. Welcome to the Current Affairs segment. This is a space where we keep you plugged of what is happening. We break down the headlines. My name is Haron. I hope you woke up well in this month of June. And thank you so much for joining us and tuning in. If we would love to connect with you and know where you're watching us from in the comments, you can reach us on our WhatsApp number, that is 0799200100, or on our social media platforms on YouTube and on Facebook. Just drop a text to us and we'd love to hear from you and connect with you. And I'm not alone today. We are with Angela Kabete. Good morning.
Good morning, Grace.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How about you?
I'm also fine.
You look sharp.
Yeah, thank you. You look sharp as well.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, you can say hello to the viewers.
A very good morning to you, our viewers. Thank you so much for tuning in for this segment, that is the Current Affairs, to cover the Grace, to make sure that you stay updated of what is happening, that is in our country and beyond. So stay tuned.
Month ndo imeanza ya June. How is it taking you?
We're expecting that it is going to be a productive month, full of blessings. Yes.
Wow, that's amazing. So let's head on to the verse of the day. The verse of the day comes from the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 11. And it says, "If you then, though you are evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father in heaven give good gifts to those who ask him?" I repeat, if you then, though you are evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father in heaven give good gifts to those who ask him? Wow, what an amazing verse this morning. That even if the evil people, the evil fathers are able to give to their children, who is God, who loves us, who is not wicked, he's perfect. That is what the verse is reminding us today. It is still reminding us of asking to the Lord and still going to him for what we need and relying on him, because he is able to give what we need.
Yeah, I love it, Grace. If you then, though you are evil, it means that we as humans, we're not perfect. Hakuna mtu perfect, Grace. You know, it continues and says that know how to give your children good gifts. Despite the human imperfections, our parents still care for their children, and they still give them, that is the good gifts. You know, I love telling how much more will your Father in heaven give? That is even though and you know, God is greater than human beings. God is better than human beings. You know, and he's perfect. Perfect. You know, so if the parents are not perfect, but they can give the children good gifts, what about God himself, who is perfect? You know, this reminding us that we as human beings, as you've said, you're supposed to be turning to God each and every day, each and every time. You know, the moments of lack, you know, zile times they feel I don't have anything, you know, turn to God. Because he'll give us the good gifts. Wow,
that's an amazing verse. Yesterday we reminded our viewers that knock, ask and it will be given to you. You know, call and it will be answered. Knock and the Lord will open the door for you. Keep persisting each and every day, each and every morning, daytime, in the evening. Persistence in prayer, and the Lord will surely give the desires of your heart. And that is the verse of the day, Angela. So we can head on to what is happening and to our nation. I have the Daily Nation with me.
I have the Standard.
And my first story is, I will start with the education sector. We have grade 9 learners can pick from 9,569 institutions that will admit in January. So grade 9 tuliona that they were told to choose from the institutions that wanafaa kuingia for the senior school. The senior school your child attends has influence on their career in future. Details of the subject combinations learners will study to qualify for certain professionals are contained in an online platform the Education Ministry has opened to guide learners. So kuna an online platform yenye imefunguliwa. Let us read the story more to understand. It's on page 4 of my Daily Nation. The senior school your child attends and the subjects they choose to study or drop will play a crucial role in shaping their career path. paths. Details of the subject combinations required for learners to qualify for various careers are now available on an online platform launched by the Ministry of Education. The platform is designed to guide learners, their parents, and teachers in making informed decisions about career paths. The current grade 9 class was be the first to choose the career pathways under the CBC, now renamed Competency-Based Education, CBE. Yeah, the online portal now allows the 1.2 million grade 9 learners to select their preferred career pathways, and the schools they wish to join for grade 10 starts of senior school beginning in January next year. Yeah, we hope that hawa watoto, because unasikia kuna system ambayo imefunguliwa mpya na the government ambayo it will guide the learners and the parents. We hope there will be some civic education, sorry, to help parents understand what or how to use this platform.
Yeah.
Because don't forget that si wazazi wote wenye wanaweza kutumia the digital way nowadays. Yeah, but it's a good thing if it can work. It is a good thing for the education system, and we wish all the grade 9 all the best. Because they are choosing their careers. Imesemekana that the school they will choose, how senior school choices will shape students' careers. Remember how watoto wanagaidiwa kuambiwa, unasikia unajua nashangaa mtoto akiwa grade 9 anajua anataka nini already. Na kuna watu wakiwa form 1 form 2 wakiambiwa choose subjects, walikuwa wanashangaa ni wakimbilie wapi na wapi.
And also apart from choosing subjects, zilikuwa zinaenda zikichange with time.
Yeah.
Form 1 you realize you want this, form 2 it changes, you know.
Yeah.
But that's a good thing.
So we hope the students or these students will be able to be guided as well by the teachers as they choose those subjects in the schools.
And the career path.
Yes.
Yeah, and on the standard of page 1 of my page 1 of the standard grade, there's a story that has been highlighted here.
Yeah.
And it seems that it has been there for long, but saino inakuwa addressed. That is Western arm twist, and they're saying sanitizing grabbing. In a comic twist exposing the rot in public institutions, KCAA now seeks compensation and not restitution from the President William Ruto linked to Western Hotel over contested land. Despite earlier claims, the agency now signals the land grab is acceptable so long as the payment is made. Justice, it seems, has a price in Western and it is willing to pay. That is story is in page 4 and 5. Let's check it out.
Yeah.
And they're saying, Grace, inside a silent settlement that saw a Western Hotel claim public land, and they say justice met politics as KCAA dropped its claim as siding public land to Western for a price as Gen Z bled in protest. That is in June 2024, and they say 5 years, 3 regimes, 1 hotel Western's land saga ends not in court but in a quietly filled contest. And they're saying as police were tear gassing and killing Gen Z demonstrators protesting the controversial Bill 2024 on the streets last June, lawyers of the Kenya Civil Aviation and Authority and President William Ruto were quietly drafting a deal to settle the proctored Langata, that land dispute involving the Western Hotel. And they're saying the agreement was filed in the lands in Nairobi, brought an end to the high-stakes legal battle, and it has been raged for 5 years between the aviation and the regulator of the head state. And they're saying that, Grace, they have related at a glance the key date in the Western case that happened, that is in January 24, 2019. The National Lands Commission finds the land where the Western sits public orders, and then that is in June 12, 2019. The KCAA files the case against Western that and Monene Investment Priority, and then that is March 3rd, 2021. June, Eboso rules that land courts has power to hear the case. In July 12, 2021, the case set for hearing application and suspend the hearing, and then that is in September 1st, 2021. A judge declines to suspend the hearing. That is in November 2023, the KCAA back in court seeking order lifted. Then in June 20th, 2024, the KCAA charges Tune and opts for compensation. And they're saying they at least Apple laid the reason why the case was never had, Grace. And they're saying the court dates came and went, but hearing never took off. That is adjustments stalled everything. And then they're saying legal gamesmanship and political undercurrents buried the case before any witness could even testify. So the reason that was never had, number one, political interest, Grace, that is number one. Before even any witness could even testify. That is what they're saying. And then they say the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority, a legal battle, and the President William Ruto Weston over the contested Langata land ended without full hearing on ownership or how the property changed hands. So there was no clarity, Grace. You know, we can say that justice was not found, Grace. There's no clarity because you can say even the president is here. And that's why they're calling it a gamesmanship and also political interest. But now at least they have Merudi story tena. And I hope that they'll check it out, Grace, for clarity itself about the land.
Kutakuwa na clarity. Clarity is very important.
We hope that itangaliwa, Grace, because you know when it comes to matter with politics and justice, that's not a good thing at all.
True. And no one who is above the law.
That's true. Apart from that, what do you have there?
I can head on to the story. There's a story about the activist Mwangi Boniface and Atuhaire. Atuhaire is another activist as well. She is a Ugandan right activist. She's called Agatha Atuhaire and Kenyan Boniface Mwangi. They're giving their story here on page 2, that how they were horrifying details of torture in Tanzania. They were horrified. I mean, they were tortured according to what they are saying. And they are saying that the tormentors who tormented them told the two activists to sing President Suluhu's praises during torture, according to what they are saying. So the two of them had gone to Tanzania to attend Tundu Lissu's court case hearing when they were tortured. But let's read the story and understand more. Activist Boniface Mwangi and Ugandan journalist Agatha Atuhaire have narrated how a simple act of solidarity with Tanzania opposition leader Tundu Lissu turned into a nightmare of torture, sexual assault, and psychological trauma. We don't know whether it's true, but you see, like walienda Tanzania for the hearing of Tundu Lissu, but they are saying that it turned into a nightmare of torture, sexual assault, and psychological trauma. Their trip to Dar es Salaam turned into a horrifying ordeal after the two were abducted from their hotel rooms by Tanzanian security agents and subjected to days of physical and sexual abuse. It's so bad if it's true. Physical and sexual abuse. At a press conference in Nairobi yesterday, the two recounted the terrifying events of May 18th, 2022, describing how they were hunted down, beaten and assaulted while being accused of plotting to destabilize Tanzania. Their testimony paints a chilling picture of political repression, cross-border impunity, and the brutal silencing of dissent in East Africa. Even without reading the whole story, because it is a long story, it seems what the newspaper is saying, this is supposed to be inafaa iangaliwe sana, because they went for a hearing.
Na kuna human rights, Grace, don't forget that.
They went for a hearing, but then they were tortured, and they're talking of sexual torture, sexual abuse. That's not good. And kama ni hivyo, inafaa iangaliwe sana, because it is not good.
And at least let's give people a background of what happened. That is the Ugandan, the Kenyan activists who were detained. That is in Tanzania. And that is unclear. They're saying that what they said, Grace, they were arrested because of unclear, and abado they were politically charged, you know, charged for different circumstances. You know, upon the release, they returned to Kenya, and they're saying they held a press conference, Grace, you know, where from what you have read, they narrated the torture that they went through. And you know, the people that you have mentioned, that is Agatha Atuhaire, she that is a Ugandan rights activist, and then there is Boniface Mwangi, that is the Kenya activist. He's also a photojournalist and known for bold activism. And then there is the Tanzanian authorities, Grace, detained the activists. Those are the people who are involved. They detained the activists and reason they are not clearly highlighted or summarized. And then there is the Kenya media and civil society. They covered and condemned the incidents. But you know, the incidents raise question, Grace, about that is the human rights, Grace, from what you have said. And the safety across the borders of the activists, you know, possibly speaking in a diplomatic concern, you know, because they went there as people who, when you angalia, that is the human rights, you know. And activists. That is not a good thing, Grace, Aki. That is a sad story.
It's a very sad one. The government, especially Kenyan government, should wanafaa watetee Boniface Mwangi.
But I don't know what is happening with the activists, Grace, because I think there is when it comes kuna freedom of expression, Grace. I don't know, because atujana wamechapa mtu, Grace, you know, but let's see from what wa Tanzania wanasema, kila country iko na sheria zake. You know, you know, this story can be argumented because, as you are saying, it's not clearly stated the reason as to why they were arrested. So let's say kila country iko na sheria zake, and that's why the human rights wanafaa waingilia waseme this and this happens, you know, and this is why they were arrested, you know. This is where walikosea. Hizi ndio sheria za nchi yetu. They did not observe this and that and that. And that's why they are, and also they clearly state that in our country, as an activist, you do this and that, you're sexually harassed.
But even if they did something wrong, they were not supposed to be sexually abused. Who can, atakama, maybe, you know, you've said about unclear, but even if they did something wrong, even if they did something wrong, they were not supposed to be sexually abused or tortured or psychologically traumatized.
But I hope, and that's why we saw that is the Kenya and the media, Kenya media and civil society, they stood out and they said that was not right. But apart from saying that was not right, I hope that watengilia kati, Grace, justice will be served. And kama walikosea, Grace, pia wao sheria ichukuliwe, right? And still, when it comes to the activists, Grace, I can see this almost the same story that is on the Standard of page 1. They're saying voices crushed and bodies broken, and they're saying activists alleged torture in Tanzania. That is the same story that you have there. And they're saying that with tears flowing and voices breaking with the emotional rights activists recounted painful ordeals at the hands of cold-blooded security squads who vowed to kill them if they ever set foot in Tanzania. So if they ever set foot in Tanzania, this is a threat. Great. Could this possibly affect that is our relationship with Tanzania, especially when it comes to trade and other things? Because, you know, last month tulisoma, Grace, that one of the people that you trade with ni Tanzania. You know, people will support each other economically in Tanzania. Could this affect the stability of that and the relationship?
And we saw on social media how they were talking about our country, and it was so bad. They were saying our country is not the same as theirs. We do our politics so badly and all that.
But I hope this will be checked out, Grace, because even as I can see a picture yao really, they are crying. That is on the Standard. It means that the experience was not good at all, and they're saying we went through hell in Tanzania. Activists, that is Mwangi and Atuhaire, that is what they're saying. And the pair recounted a chilling ordeal marked by midnight raids, a beating, sexual abuse, and diplomatic indifference, just as you have read, Grace. And they're saying their experience reveals a cross-border crackdown on voices of dissent under the guise of maintaining peace, you know, because even Uganda is involved. So you know, I hope it affect that is even the East Africa community, because it may affect a lot of things, you know.
Wanafaa wakae chini wote, our leaders.
But at a glance, at least I can see here Boniface Mwangi, and that is Agatha Atuhaire, and I can see both they were detained. That is May 18. They're saying held in dark rooms, tortured for days and subjected to humiliations, but now they've been given that is medication to try to heal their physical wounds. At least that is a good thing, right? At least that is going to help them with their mental health. And they're saying both were dumped at border points with Kenya and Uganda. Dumped, Grace, even not released. Yes, dumped. You know, that side. And they're saying that both claim security agents, they assaulted them, but at least, Grace, wamepatiwa, they're given their medication. It's going to help a lot, so that it will not affect them, you know, mentally. But I hope this will be checked out, Grace. This is not a good thing at all. After they're supposed to waangalie mambo ya human rights, especially when it comes to freedom of expression, when it comes to do with politics, but also to the activists. Before you go to another country, Grace, tafadhali angalia sheria za hiyo nchi ni gani. You know, when it comes to the expression, what are the things, what are the do's and the don'ts, because each and every country ziko na sheria zake, Grace. Usiende huko uongee ushikwe. And connecting to that story of an activist, there's a woman in Kenya called Rose Njeri. She created a website that to educate the public about what is contained in proposed law, that is the finance bill. And she was arrested. And the story is on my page 3 of my Daily Nation. Police accused of deliberately detaining Njeri over a long weekend, and it is said that she has some health conditions, and the family here, the relatives, they are pleading the government to release her. The family of Rose Njeri, who was arrested for setting up an anti-finance bill 2025 website, has expressed concern for her well-being. Ms. Njeri, 35, who was arrested by the police on Friday in Nairobi's South Sea area, is facing cybercrime charges following her online calls for Kenyans to reject the finance bill. It has emerged that Ms. Njeri, a mother of 2, has anemia. Ms. Naomi Njoki, her mother, said that Njeri's continued detention would have a serious impact on her health and asked the police to release her for her to access medication. But, you know, okay, they told the police to release her, but this is what they said. They told her that they were arresting her because of the website. We have spoken with the OCS and OCPD, and they said that they do not have the power to release her. We want to ask Ms. Amin to let Njeri go home to her family. Mr. Mwangi, now the activist, Mr. Mwangi Boniface, because we see him here also telling the a group of activists who joined the family in calling for her release, claimed that the director of Directorate of Criminal Investigations, Mohammed Amin, issued orders that Ms. Njeri should not be released until Tuesday. So alilala kwa cell the whole of the weekend. So but the Vocal Africa CEO Hussein Khalid and Boniface Mwangi led a group of activists in demanding her release. She created a website for public participation of the proposed finance bill. But I don't know why they're arresting her, because, Grace, this is raising concerns that is on the touches of freedom expression. Because sieti ameenda wakafanya maandamano, Grace, you know, kuna freedom of expression. The fact that tuna expect that is in the fiscal year, the bill inafaa kupitishwa, that is in June on, Grace, you know. So we're wondering, why is she arrested, Grace? But you know, apart from talking about freedom of expression, don't forget kuna limitations, you know. But since that we don't really have, they have not clarified, Grace, ni nini alifanya kwa social media, we can't argue about that. But you know, people should check mambo ya accountability, you know. Apart from creating that group na kuambia watu, let's talk about this, you know, tuone maandamano, Grace, or let's do this and that. People should sit down. Si kuna highlights zilitolewa, that is of the finance bill. Sit down, understand, and then say these are the areas that we don't want it happen, even these are the areas that we feel pesa inafaa kuongezewa. Mambo ya accountability, because I believe even cities are supposed to be accountable.
We're seeing former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and ex-Cabinet Secretary Justin Muturi condemning the unlawful detention of Ms. Njeri. So tunaona kuna support kadhaa hapa,
especially from the DCP.
Kuna support, watu wanasema it is unlawful detention.
I hope atakuwa release, as they have said, and you have said the impact that it will bring if she continues stayed that is in prison.
She's sick. Wanasema she has anemia and she has to go for her medication.
Okay, and still on the same story, Grace, not really on the same story, but this to do with the activist. That is page 2 of the Standard. I can see here kuna picha ya Mother Karua. And I believe people know Mother Karua Grace.
Yes.
And you know what happened? Alikuwa ameenda Tanzania, and she was deported back.
Yeah.
And I guess here, I don't know why she's smiling. Let's figure out. Activists decry rise in abductions, torture, and disappearances in the region. You know, we're speaking about our country, great.
Yeah.
You know, and the same prominent opposition leaders are currently imprisoned in their countries, awaiting trial and treason charges. And they're saying that the recent deportations, abductions, and torture of human rights are defenders in Tanzania mirrors the 1980s struggle for political pluralism in Kenya, which culminated in 1992 constitutional reforms and introduced multi-party democracy. And they say the incidents in Tanzania has sparkled concerns of what many see as a coordinated effort by East African governments to suppress fundamental rights. As I said, I hope it affects that is the East Africa unity. And they're saying that leaders and human rights activists argue the increasing occurrences of abductions are perceived by the government critics alongside the torture and the enforced disappearances perpetrated by security agents signal a worrying trend. And they say the fear that a government security agents are arresting opponents while posing as criminals, you know. And who are the opponents? You know, probably here we're speaking about that is Mother Karua, because you know she's part of the opposition. You know, probably near we are not clear because they have not clarified. And then they're saying they highlighted there's a human rights defenders note that even during the dark days, security agents conducting arrests have a courtesy of to identify themselves at police stations, you know. And they highlighted abduction of the Ugandan opposition leader Kizza Besigye in Nairobi, as well as deportation of the People Liberation Party leader, that is the former Justice Minister Mother Karua. She was deported back immediately alifika Tanzania. And the Chief Justice Willy Mutunga from Tanzania, where they had traveled to attend the trial opposition of the leader Tundu Lissu in a collaborative effort among the three East Africa states, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. I hope they sit down and settle down these issues, Grace. Yeah,
because Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda, we are a family, kinda, because we support one another. And if we are not okay,
it's true,
we will not be okay even in East Africa.
Away from the story, Grace, you have something else?
I maybe we get away from now the activists and
and everything.
A little bit of economy here. Limiting importation may result in high commodity prices due to limited local production. It is said that the rice imports will be reduced by 50 PS. The government will reduce rice imports by 50% to protect farmers amid concerns about price rises since local production does not meet market demand. Our local production in Kenya is not meeting the demand. So Agriculture and Food Authority, that is FAFA, Director General Bruno Linyiru said cutting down rice imports would protect the livelihoods of 8,500 rice farmers from Kirinyaga and neighboring counties. Going forward, AFA, that is the Agriculture and Food Authority, in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture and other stakeholders, is spearheading initiatives to reduce rice imports by 50%, said Dr. Linyiru. The rice that is produced locally cost about 160 shillings per kilogram, while the imported rice, largely from Pakistan and India, goes for 80 shillings a kilogram net of importation and haulage cost. So they say the move to cut down on importation of the commodity that is slowly becoming a staple food followed a rice sector consultative meeting at the Moya Rice Growers Multipurpose Cooperative Society offices in Kirinyaga on Thursday last week. We see that the meeting was attended by the Director, Food Crops Directorate, Mr. Kalistas Kundu, Kenya National Trading Corporation, Managing Director Lucy Anangwe, the cooperative's chairperson Dege Muriuki, and Dr. Linyiru. But Dr. Linyiru here says that the Ministry of Agriculture recognizes the importance of supporting local production first.
That's a good thing. You know, supporting our own. At least for once, Grace, hatutakuwa na exports mingi.
Yes.
You know, and at least, you know, I mean, I've said what, hatutakuwa na imports mingi that is in our country. And that is going to help in stability of our economy, Grace, because if we support our own, it means tutakuwa na pesa zetu, Grace, especially into the world of agriculture, you know. Even when it comes to ugali, tunaona Grace, at least they find a way out, because at least we have said that when it comes even to ugali tuliona Grace walisema hawata import sana, because the places zenye watu na import that is in Tanzania, na pia walikuwa affected, that is with climate, but they say they're going to support our very own farmers. That's a good thing,
very good one. If they will support them, rice itaendelea, it will be a staple food, and it will be very cheap.
Ugali.
No, it can't. It can, but some parts of Kenya, but not all. Yes,
but we hope that they continue doing that. Those are good implementations, Grace. You know, supporting our very own.
Actually they say 191,000 tons of rice Kenya produces in the 2024-2025 season, against a monthly demand of 100,000 tons. So Kenya is doing well. If it is supported, Kenya can do well in matters agriculture.
So can you say that kume tunajiweza, Grace? It's only that we have not sat down and thought about it. Could you say that?
Tunajiweza as a country, in matters agriculture and food and all that.
You know, at least, Grace, if our economy is stable, you know, by supporting our own, because tuko tunapata pesa zetu, Grace, you know, hatutakuwa tunaenda kuomba the external debt. We can be doing internal. You know, that's a good thing. Very doing internal debt, you know, at least unajua ni sisi tunajilipia wenyewe. We don't owe any other country. You know, we don't owe them. You know,
can you imagine what you said? Imagine a county is producing a lot and they have a lot of money, and alafu wana lend to another county, alafu the that's collaboration.
You know, the government here, you know, that will be a good thing, right? It will lead to growth in our country.
And challenging one county challenging the other.
That will be a good thing, right? And we have mentioned something to do with agriculture, Grace, you know, but sijui kwa on this it looks so different. Let me read. That is on page 7. And they say Mogoka bill. Mogoka, you know Mogoka?
Yes.
Mogoka bill that could chew, or save Kindiki's political career. You know, how would that happen? You know, that's an irony we say that, because Mogoka, how can Mogoka save one career?
Because he comes from that place.
Oh, really? Okay, this makes it interesting. You know, our farmers face an uncertain future following introduction of a bill by Kilifi North MP. And they're saying region residents are urging the DP to ensure the proposal does not see the light of the day. That is what the regional residents are saying. And when Professor Kithure Kindiki was sworn in as the deputy president on November 1st last year, residents of Embu and Meru celebrated. Hopefully that he will safeguard Mira and Mogoka farming. Two crops under threat due to ban in some counties, you know. So kuna bans, kuna watu wanataka iendelee, Grace, na kuna watu wanataka ikue banned. The residents wanataka ikue banned. But what about the farmers, Grace? You know, this I don't know how we'll strike a balance to make sure that the farmers are not affected. Na bado maslahi ya wananchi, you know, the residents want it to be banned, you know. And they say Mombasa and Kilifi counties banned Mogoka in May last year as citing health risks. And the move was met with the protests from leaders in Mogoka growing regions. And they're saying in response to the bans, President William Ruto directed the Ministry of Agriculture to convene stakeholders and address the concerns related to the sale and use of Mogoka. And the president also allocated 500 million in the 2024-2025 bill, our financial year, towards value addition for the scheduled crops. 500 million is a lot.
It's a lot.
And they say during a tour of Meru in April, Kindiki vowed to champion in the interest of Mogoka farmers. You know, so it's like supporting them. You know, what about the residents, Grace, when you wanataka ikuwe banned?
Kuna watu ambao wanakulianga hiyo Mogoka. They pay fees with Mogoka.
And that's why they're saying Mogoka bill that could chew or save Kindiki's political career. Will you support, that is, the residents all these farmers, as he said.
Yes.
You know, this is, I don't know how he's going to do that, Grace.
That.
You know, but I said that some cartels have for many years exploited the hard work and the sacrifices of Mira farmers, but the president has given clear orders that the cartels must be dismantled. That is what he said. And he urges farmers to remain patient as the government implements reforms designed to stabilize the sector and ensure fair prices, promising guaranteed minimum returns. That is in the Mira sector, Grace, you know. And the Agriculture Cabinet Secretary has introduced guaranteed minimum returns for Mira farmers, and the government is doing everything possible to ensure that the new prices are upheld. That is what Kindiki stated. And despite the assurances, Mogoka farmers now face uncertain future following the introduction of a new bill seeking to remove Mogoka from Kenya list of scheduled crops. So what will happen to these farmers, Grace? You know, despite it affecting the residents, you know, what about the farmers? As you said, kuna mtu school fees anatoa hapo.
Kuna mtu anatoa
hapo. What will they do? What will happen? You know, I don't know if the government considers kuitoa, you know, at least they find a way
something else,
you know,
compensating
the farmers themselves, or giving them something in Grace, or supporting them financially to enter into probably the world of entrepreneurship and do something different, because watu wataenda wapi, Grace?
But now itakuwa ngumu wao kuadapt because they are used to that. Yes.
But you know, as you have said, Grace, ikitolewa, and you know that is Kindiki as a DP has promised to support them. You know, they're saying this could affect his political career. And that's why they're saying Mogoka bill that could chew or save Kindiki's political career. You're saying something?
No, like I'm wondering. So your promises, your promises ndo zinakuweka kwa kiti.
Yes, but of course, you know, Kenyan citizens wanataka kufanyiwa kazi, and that is why they choose, and that's why they elect leaders. That is what is even even the MPs in leadership, because wanataka kufanyiwa kazi. They're representatives of the citizens, Grace. You know, I don't know what will happen. But saying currently scheduled crops including Mogoka, sugarcane tea, coffee, Irish potatoes, bananas, maize, rice, sorghum, wheat, and cat are regulated under the Crop Act to promote productivity, improve trade, and ensure quality. But I hope, Grace, they'll check this, because watu wengi wanakuwa affected na Mogoka, especially the young people. They're embracing Mogoka as a way of, you know, helping them, you know, leisure, which is not a good thing at all. So I hope the government will find a way to strike balance between that is the Mogoka farmers and the residents. You know, that is what we had in the world of agriculture. But before that, I can see here on the same, Kindiki has come here and promised to canvass at the area until the ruling UDA party wins the seat. But farmers cannot trust the government if it is still remains silent on this dramatic colonial bill that threatens our way of life. That is what one of the sentiments that was said by Kadhunga. And he added that Kindiki as a son of a Mogoka growing county. As a son of a growing county, has a duty to protect the interests of his community. And he said, expect that Kindiki will ensure the bill does not see the light. So what will happen, Grace? You know, as a son from that community, what will he do? Will he look at, you know, at the interest, you know, at the residents? Atangalia that is the farmers. What will happen?
It is a puzzle for him, and we'll get to see what he will do.
Kazi kwake. As he figure out what to do. I hope he make the wise decision, you know, and not considering that ametoka, because I don't think that is one of the reasons that he should consider it. Away from the agriculture, you have something else?
We can conclude with the education sector, because we've been the health sector, we've been seeing the UHC workers striking for some time now, and there's some sad story here connecting to that, and it says that as the strike by universal health coverage UHC workers enters the 17th week, it has emerged that the Ministry of Health has been paying millions of shillings every month to thousands of ghost workers. So unasikia pesa kuna mahali imekuwa ikienda. Investigations revealed that some 3,000 ghost UHC staff have been pocketing more than 1.5 million shillings every month, and taxpayers may have lost close to 9 billion shillings since 2020 when the defective payroll started running. According to the Council of Governors Health Committee, the ministry in 2020 recruited 8,571 UHC workers on behalf of the counties with a view of building their capacity to combat the COVID-19 pandemic. However, the counties now say that they only have slightly more than 5,500 workers on the ground, meaning 3,000 ghost workers have each been drawing a 50,000 shillings monthly salary from the ministry. Can you imagine?
Yeah, because I'm wondering why Realm Ledic's Grace are striking, complaining Grace, you know, for the poor payments, you know, delayed payments. Grace.
In the 17th week of striking.
Money is being siphoned, you know, to ghost workers. You know, what is that? That is corruption.
That is the highest. Oh yeah, it's corruption.
It is, Grace.
Yes.
It is, because you person nafa iwalipe Grace.
Yeah.
But now we're talking about ghost workers, Grace. You know, that is not.
So bad. Someone is asking, who pockets their salaries? Mr. Wafula asked, because there's some, there's a bit of statistics here. Inasema that when Nation compared the official payroll data from the Ministry of Health against the head count data collected from 20 counties, we established that Wajir County has 61 more workers from the initial 46. Kisii has 34, Meru 25, Muranga 24, Nairobi 17, Siaya 13. Ivo. They have been highlighted. And then UHC National Chair Desmond Wafula appeared to confirm that the Health Ministry data was not tallying with the governor's records. He gave an example of Taita Taveta County where two UHC medics passed on but are still listed as active in the payroll. Can you imagine? They died but they are still in the payroll.
Who is
pocketing this money? Yes.
You know, I think we should say venye tu waititu alishikwa Grace, hata watu wanafaa ashikwe.
Yeah, waangalie nani hao wenye wako included hapo.
And you know the people that are involved, Grace, that is the UHC program staff, the legitimate workers who are working currently on strike, Grace. Then you have the Ministry of Health, you know, the county health and the county health departments. They're supposed to be questioned because of that, Grace. Then you have the auditors and the anti-corruption agencies. They are investigating that, Grace. But I'm wondering, all that time, you want to realize, kwa hivyo ni pesa ngapi zimepotea?
Inaonekana hakuna unity katika within the government, because kama governor mwenyewe anasema kwa governor's records hakuna hizo, you know, and now meaning that on the other side there are records. So sijui kunaendelea aje.
We really wonder when they sit down and make these kind of decisions, who are involved, Grace.
Yes.
Because these are leaders, they're supposed to be accountable. Actually, let's talk about accountability and transparency, Grace, when it comes to leadership and decision making. When it comes to matters of finance, people complain that hatuna pesa, you know. Grace, people complaining that hakuna pesa, but angalia kwenye pesa zinaenda. You know, the health, especially when it comes to the health, Grace. Probably this could be in other departments apart from health. I don't know if they should sit down and check that.
Yes, true.
Yeah, when it comes to I hope the auditors and the anti-corruption agencies, Grace,
they will take action.
Investigation, and they take not only action, serious action, Grace, so that this will not repeat itself. Because you know, don't forget, hata wakistrike, mtu yakuwa affected ni nani, Grace? Ni mwananchi, the common mwananchi ndio anangukiwa na all these things. That is what we have for the
that's what we have for today. Maybe you have something for our viewers as we conclude.
For our viewers, thank you so much for tuning in for the current affairs. We're always here that from 7 to 8. Make sure that you stay updated of what is happening that is in our country and beyond. Grace, there's something else, the Sonship.
The Sonship Summit this month from 23rd to 27th. We welcome all of you. You're a minister, you're a pastor, or you're serving in the church. We welcome all of you here at Mizpah House of Prayer. Yes.
Wakuje, so that you know they get impartation, they get to listen from the fathers. Yes. This is a gathering where is seeking to restore that is the hearts of the sons and the fathers together.
Yes, true.
So Karibisha.
Yes. For more information, just contact 0727766553. Thank you so much, viewers. This segment has been sponsored by Stack Institute and Driving School. The courses they offer, we have cosmetology, ICT, hospitality courses, driving school, and they have their various branches in Nakuru County, and their main campus is in Njoro Town on the Egerton Njoro Road. You can visit their website on www.stackinstitute.ac.ke and also via their email info@stackinstitute.ac.ke. Have a blessed day, but don't go away because we are coming back with lifestyle.